Hello everyone, Aaron here and welcome back to Leetcode. Today we are doing the break a palindrome problem. Given a palindromic string of lowercase English letters, palindrome, replace exactly one character with any lowercase English letter so that the resulting string is not a palindrome and that it is the lexicographically smallest one possible. Return the resulting string. If there is no way to replace a character to make it not a palindrome, return an empty string. A string A is lexicographically smaller than a string B of the same length if in the first position where A and B differ, A has a character strictly smaller. So A, B, C, C is lexicographically smaller than A, B, C, D. Okay, that makes sense. Basically, C, the first place they differ is this C and this D. So C is smaller than D or earlier than D. So then this is lexicographically smaller. So this guy here, A, B, C, C, B, A is a palindrome because we see that A and A, B and B, C and C. Basically, if you read it forwards and backwards, you read the same thing. We need to make this as small as we need to make this not a palindrome, so basically we could replace the A, we could replace the B, we could replace the C on either end, on one way on either end, as long as this does not, and what am I saying? Yeah, sorry, my brain is mush today, I've just come out of a very long meeting. Yeah, so we have to asymmetrically edit this to break the palindrome effect. But we can't just do that arbitrarily. We need to make it as small as possible. So our first bet would probably be to look at the A, but we can't do anything smaller than an A. We could increase that, such as turn it into a B, but that would be basically infeasible. We could... yeah, so the reason we couldn't turn this into a B would be because what we could have done instead was turn the B into an A, which is this one here. Okay. So basically what we want to do is scan up to halfway and basically reduce the first non-A thing. Is that correct? I think it is. So here, if we scan up to halfway, well, we can't scan anything because it's a single character. So this is always going to be a palindrome. Here we scan up to the first character. And then we just reduce it. Reduce the first non-A character and we just reduce it. This seems very possible, which is good. I'm just concerned there's an edge case I haven't thought of. So hang on, let's do some thinking. If I have A, how do I break this palindrome? I need to go to AB. So I don't want to scan from the beginning to the middle. I want to scan. No, I do want to scan from the beginning to the middle. But if I see all A's, then I want to turn the very last letter into a B. Three A's. We scan up to halfway, so we turn the last letter into a B. Yeah, I think that works. Could it not be true? I don't think so. If I change anything else, if I was to do this into a BAA, that's much larger lexicographically than AAB. As soon as I see something that's not an A, oh, yeah, so I scan up to halfway, and if all I've seen is A's, I turn that into a B. But if I see A, B, B, A, then I scan up to halfway. I found something that's not an A, so I reduce it. And that's not a palindrome. Okay, I think we have an algorithm here. Letters is palindrome.split for letters for letter in letters up to len letters over 2. So this integer division, if it's got an even number of characters like this 6, it'll give us up to 3. It'll take the first 3 of them. Whereas if it's an odd number, say it was AA, or say it was AAA, 3 integer division 2 is 1, so it would only give us the first A. We wouldn't look at the middle item. And that's okay, because changing the middle item in a palindrome is never going to break the palindromity of it. Just to show what I mean with that, if I have AAAAZ, this middle character here, I could change this to anything I like. It's still a palindrome. So we don't need to worry about the middle character at all. If a letter does not equal A, in fact, I want to do letter A and enumerate. Modified as false. If there's a letter that's not A, what I want to do is letters at I is pred of A. Pred of letter. Modified is true. Break. Otherwise carry on. There is no else here. If not modified, this means we saw all A's. Ooh. Hang on. There's what this would do. This would also break. If len palindrome is equal to 1, in fact less than or equal to 1, return that. So I think that's the only case where you cannot break the palindrome, because as soon as you've got 2 letters, you can adjust one of them. If you've got 3, you can adjust one of them and you're fine. So it's only if it's 0 or 1 characters in our palindrome do we fail. So if not modified, letters -1 gets set to A. We want to roll that back as far as we can. In fact, no, hang on here. I was saying do the predecessor. But that's not correct. We don't want to do the predecessor of A. We want to just go straight roll all the way back to A, because if... So let's say this was... in fact, no, I'll do it over here. Let's say my example was actually A, C, B, B, C, A. I was going to say we should turn this into a B, which does break the palindrome. But what we should actually do is roll it all the way back to A, because that is lexicographically even smaller. So that makes that even easier. I don't need to work out how to do a predecessor on it later, which isn't hard. You just do that with OR, subtract 1, and so if I want to do the predecessor of X is OR of X minus 1 all curd. So that's not hard. But here what we do is we want to return the join of the letters. Because we have either rolled one of them back all the way to A, or we saw all A's, I had a typo, or we've seen all A's and we've just taken the very last one and bumped it up to a B. Let's test it. First, just a typo check. Damn. Output B. What? No, that surprises me. How did that output a B? Oh. Python splits on spaces by default. I need to split on anything by default. Silly, silly, silly. Empty separator. I know it's an... Oh, because that's not how you do it. You do this. Can you tell I haven't done string processing in Python in a while? Interestingly, I've been doing it in C, which is an absolute bloody nightmare. So, stick to Python. Okay, use all the example test cases, and I'm actually going to throw in a couple of our own ones in here, just to see whether we're passing those as well. Input string is not a palindrome. Oh, I'm missing an A. Excellent. So we are correctly doing our little B bump on the end if we see all A's, and otherwise we are successfully rolling back all the way to an A. Let's submit it and see what happens. Perfect. This is apparently exactly what the expected solution was, because we're right in the middle of the pack, although I don't trust their timing as far as they can kick it. What could we have done a bit better here? This isn't bad. I don't mind this. This is a wee bit gross. This len letters over 2 index slicing, basically. This should probably be factored out, but it's not the end of the world. Basically, I feel like I'm doing a bit much in this line. Having to maintain a modified, not ideal. I believe Python allows a for else, but that's so uncommon, I suspect making that change would actually make it worse, so I'd rather stick with the modified here. Special casing this is a wee bit gross, but it is what it is. Because if we didn't special case this, basically we'd end up with an empty list. And that's fine for the for loop, but it breaks down here. If we're trying to do the last element of an empty list, well, there's no last element of an empty list, so What I could do is if not modified and letters. Yeah, if letters and not modified do this. But then we've done a whole lot of processing where we can just spot the special case immediately. So, oh, in fact, no, that wouldn't even work, because there could be one thing in here. If there was just an A in here, that would be letters has some elements. So we'd actually need to check that letters is greater than length 1. No. So doing that up here is probably the nicest way to do it. It makes it obvious this is a very special case. Let's just handle it separately. No, I'm happy with this solution. This comment is good. It explains why we got into this case. I'm happy to leave that. Do we need any other comments? Probably would be good to comment this here and say why we're doing it with an integer division and why we're only going halfway. It's because it's a palindrome and we only need to look up to halfway minus halfway exactly if it's an even length, and halfway minus 1 before the halfway character if it's an odd length. Anyway, that's it from me today. Thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like, comment, subscribe. I saw the previous video did very, very well. That's probably because it was a hard problem. Those don't come up terribly often in the dailies, so hopefully they come up again and I have a chance to show off doing a hard problem again, because that's apparently what gets you all excited. Maybe I'll do some hard ones that aren't the daily problem on occasion as well. Anyway, that's it from me. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time. Bye.